I often get asked what this is. Let's take a quick close look. It's made of reindeer antler. It's got a wooden handle with a rawhide binding on it to keep the handle on the antler. It's got a hole drilled through it, which would have been very hard work in the Stone Age because antler is very tough, and it's got this piece of thin leather animal skin string hanging from it. People come up with all sorts of ideas about what it might be. Some people say it's a whip for whipping animals, but in the old Stone Age none of the animals were tame enough to do that, and you wouldn't want to get up close to any wild animals and try to hit them with this. Some people say it's a club for bashing things, and you could use it for breaking flint if you needed to, but that's not why it was made. It's not a bow for a bow and arrow because the leather isn't long enough. So what's going on here? Well, another clue is it has drawings on it. You notice there's like a drawings of horses on it there, and there's some drawings there of people going hunting with spears. So if somebody draws on it in the Stone Age, it usually means they want to say, this is mine. They didn't write with letters in the Stone Age, they didn't write their names on things, but it's their way of saying this belongs to me. And these things are often decorated. They were either drawn on or they were carved into shape. So let me give you a clue first with a modern thing about what this is all about. Let's find a modern clue. It's this. I think you probably know what this is. I think you've seen people using these. It's also made of plastic, so it can't possibly have been around in the Stone Age. In fact, it wouldn't have been around much before the 1950s because bendy plastic hasn't been around for very long at all. But this invention does a certain job, doesn't it? And if any of you said it's a dog thrower, I'm afraid you're wrong. You don't put dogs in them. You could put a chihuahua in it and it would probably go a long way. No! But what we really mean is it's a ball thrower for a dog, don't we? We use it to throw balls for dogs. And if you think about why we use it, why don't we just put the ball in our hand and throw it? The reason is that it makes our arm longer. And if our arm becomes longer, the ball goes further. And the dog's owner doesn't do anything like as much work as the poor old dog. The dog has to run twice as far to go and get the ball than if you were throwing it with your hand. Now, go back to the Stone Age, think about sneaking up on wild animals to try and get your dinner and wanting to be able to throw your spear or your dart as far as possible. Something like this would come in handy, wouldn't it? Something that made your arm longer and allowed you to throw the dart or the spear further would be very useful indeed, because you could sneak up on the animals and you could throw the dart from much further away before they smelt you or heard you or saw you. So this is how it works. A piece of string is wrapped around the tail of the dart like that, and I can then make my arm longer when I throw it. I hope you can see all of it, but it's made my arm longer for throwing the dart. So when the dart is thrown, it goes twice as far and twice as fast. Now, there's also a different way of making a dart thrower, and that is not to have a piece of string, but to have something with a hook in the end, like that. And the hook, made of antler, can go in the end of the dart, like that, like so, and you can throw it like that. And plenty of things with hooks made of antler have been found, which make us realise that Stone Age people were using them for throwing darts. Now it gets even better, because I said to you earlier that dart throwers were often decorated. Well, look at that one. That is decorated in the shape of a deer, and this is a copy of a very famous one that was found in France. And if you look, the little hook there on its tail would fit into the dart, and you could throw it like that. This is called the Mazdazil spear thrower. I've seen the real one in a museum, and it's a beautiful thing. Made, would have taken many hours to make that, so it must have been a very treasured thing for the person to own. And I put a handle on it to see if I can make it look like it must have looked in the Stone Age. It doesn't stop there, because there's another one. This one is in the shape of a horse, and you might be able to see one of those close up if you've got the box in school that I've left full of Stone Age things for people to look at, copies of Stone Age things. That is in there, okay? And that was done in the shape of a horse, and it's probably the horse's head that was used to fit in a little slot on the back of the dart to help throw it. Now there is one other which you can see close up, and you can also see another video clip about it. Take a look at Prehistory Mystery number 3, and that is a particularly special one. Like I say, you might be able to see a copy of it close up. So the thing I was carrying in my hand was a dart or spear thrower. Very, very useful, very, very helpful invention in the Stone Age.